Moving on, let's talk a few minutes about resistance training and its impact on cardiovascular disease. There are a number of published peer-reviewed studies like this 2019 study from Frontiers in Physiology, which indicate that RT results in favorable improvements in a constellation of risk factors associated with cardiovascular disease. In other words, blood pressure, blood lipids, insulin sensitivity, there's insulin sensitivity again, and vascular function. So something you might not be aware of that I found pretty cool from February of 2019 is researchers got a study published in JAMA, the Journal of the American Medical Association, and they titled it Association Between Push-Up Exercise Capacity and Future Cardiovascular Events Among Active Adult Men. So the quick skinny on this was this. Harvard researchers analyzed data from 1,104 healthy firefighters average age 40 who did not have any cardiovascular disease. Each man performed as many push-ups as possible at a cadence of 80 beats per minute, which is 20 push-ups per minute. A cadence of 80 beats per minute is 20 push-ups per minute, for a maximum of 40 push-ups in 2 minutes. The men also had treadmill tests to measure their cardiovascular health and aerobic fitness. After 10 years, they followed these guys for 10 years. The researchers found that the men who had originally performed the most push-ups were the least likely to get heart disease. Specifically, those who could do 40 or more push-ups at the 80 beats per minute cadence had a 96% lower risk of a cardiovascular event than those who could only do 10 or fewer push-ups. The men who could do at least 11 push-ups had a lower risk too, but the more they could do, the greater the benefit. The researchers had also tested the men on a treadmill, and they found the push-up test was just as accurate a predictor of future cardiovascular disease as the treadmill test. Here's what the cadence of this test looks like. Listen to the metronome of what 80 beats per minute is. And this is our very own member Todd Vasek, a student who came to us over 4 years ago. He dropped more than 70 pounds with us, and he has kept it off ever since. So listen to this. Okay, so also, if you've never done push-ups or bench press or squats or anything to a metronome, try it. It's a whole different animal. And that 80 beats per minute, you know, obviously that's not super quick. Try it at 60 beats per minute. Find a metronome that's 60 beats a minute and just try it. Try a bench press. Try a dumbbell press with that. Try an overhead press with that. Try a squat. Try anything at that metronome, 60 or 80 beats a minute, and watch how it just completely changes the movement. And I will tell you that, yes, he did hit the 40 push-up max in 2 minutes and is then, I would say, right on pace, right on par for having that 96% reduced risk of cardiovascular disease. Way to go, Todd. So how cool is all this, right? I mean, we'd expect those who can do the most push-ups would be muscularly fit in their upper body, but this is the first study that I'm aware of that also showed a massive reduction in heart disease for men who did the most push-ups. They followed them for 10 years. And from that 2019 study, the authors had this to say in their conclusion as they make specific reference to the fact that aerobic exercise gets far more of the attention and glory than resistance training, but they question whether it really should. They said, regular performance of RT improves muscle mass, strength, and function, and can have direct effects on the primary prevention of a number of chronic diseases. On the basis of the evidence we have highlighted, RT-induced benefits in chronic disease risk are equivalent, if not superior in magnitude, as aerobic exercise training. On the basis of this review, we propose that the promotion of RT should assume a more prominent position in exercise guidelines, particularly for older persons.